Hello everybody, Calamity here, and welcome to the final day of the Realm of Tempered Valor. And a lot of people are going to be upset with this final stages buffs. Once again, it is after a party member triggering a Night Soul Burst, you're going to get a bunch of HP, attack, and defense increased by 65% and an Elemental Mastery increase of 500 for 20 seconds with a max 3 stacks. So if you activate 3 Night Soul Bursts, you're going to get a huge increase in all of your stats, basically. So yeah, Nat Land characters once again reigning supreme in making this event a cakewalk. So I am pretty sure a lot of people are going to be upset. I'm sure a lot of people are already upset with this event, and I don't blame them. But let's go ahead and, yeah, I just used my Mauvika Melt team. Let's just go ahead and do it. I have to start at floor 12 because my other checkpoint is for whatever reason at floor 19, which is weird. I will talk about the event though once we're done instead of showcasing my builds because it's a Malva Kamel team. I'm sure you're familiar with how the team is built and stuff like that. But yeah, I rather would just take the time to talk about the event rather than just showing the builds again. So I got a boon this time. Thank you, Sammer. That bumps us up to 16. Alright. Should bump us up to 20, I think. Or, sorry, not 20, 19. Yeah. Alright, there we go. We got the floor 20. 21. You guys don't need to see the rest of this. So I'll see you after we're done here. Alright, event complete. I got all the rewards. A lot of people are probably not happy with this. But before I even start talking about my own thoughts about the event, and I also do encourage you guys to share your own thoughts on the event as well. But please remember, I am not Hoyoverse. I am not affiliated with Hoyoverse. If you do have a lot of legit feedback to tell them about how to make this event better for future iterations of it. Also, someone commented that this is possibly a beta test for a new endgame mode they want to try in the future. Please tell them in your feedback survey. They always have a feedback survey towards the end of every update patch, and they're gonna probably have this event pop up and like, did you participate in this event? What did you like or not like about it? And when you do those feedback surveys, I cannot stress this enough, but a lot of people don't take them seriously or write in them professionally, so to speak. Like, a lot of people just like hurl insults and be like, this event was whale favored, you guys suck, or, you know, that's probably putting it lightly. Or, honestly, a lot of you guys are putting like, this dog shit event sucks and you guys should feel bad for making a bad event. Like, they're not going to take, if you just insult the devs in the feedback survey, they're not going to take you seriously. You have to at least try to be somewhat professional and say like, hey, this event was really frustrating for me. Here's why, and here's how I'd make it better for, you know, new iterations of it if you plan to do a rerun. So that's all I can say. If, you know, I know not everyone's going to listen to me, but, you know, at least I tried. So that being said, here are my thoughts on this whole event. And first of all, yeah, I did not like this event either, believe it or not. Yes, I was defending it in some aspects because a lot of people were just saying, hey, this is a whale only event, and you have to like have these dished out teams to get all the rewards, which is not exactly true, but I understand where the frustration is coming from, especially when so many of the buffs were heavily favored towards Nat Lane characters, and that is definitely not a good design that they should do in the future. Like, yes, I understand trying to sell the, you know, the Nat Lane characters and saying, hey, look, see, if you pulled them, you got a lot of value. Excuse me, you get a lot of value from it in this event and stuff, but like, that's not a good way to do it. In fact, I'm pretty sure more people are now hating Nat Lane characters if they weren't hating them already with this event. And, you know, it's just not a good way to showcase them. I also agree with the time limit being way too short. 30 seconds is not enough for a lot of teams to set up their stuff. Because, like, even Mauvika's Melt team, like for like 5 seconds or whatever is you just watching cutscenes because you're doing Chillin' burst. Then you do, you know, Solali burst, and then you swap and do another burst, and you're just watching cutscenes, and it's like, oh, there's 5 seconds gone because I was pressing the burst button, and cutscenes are very long. So just the only reason it works for Mauvika is because the numbers are just so high, either from the buffs of the stage or just in general, right? So it sucks when you have another team that also has to do a lot of cutscene, you know, bursts as well, but they don't do as much damage because they're not getting buffed, or just they're just not as strong as Malvika's team. So it feels bad to have to like sit through a bunch of burst animations, and then it's like, oh, I just lost, you know, 5 seconds, and now I'm like already falling behind. So the time limit barely gives you enough time. Like, I guess depending on what team you have, to do like 1 or 2 rotations at most, maybe like 1.5 rotations, to do all the damage you can do to the enemies and stuff like that. So it's very limiting on what teams are viable. This is very burst damage heavy. Like, you need a lot of front loaded damage, not the whole, like, you know, sustained damage or ramping damage and stuff like that. It's really quick and dirty is what I'll say, and that's not good. I would prefer a higher time limit. I would prefer a minute at most, but I doubt they'll give us that much time. That's too much of a luxury. So even if they did it like 45 seconds, that would be pretty good, in my opinion as well, because there was a lot of times when I was experimenting with not Mauvika melt teams, and I was just like, dude, if I had like five more seconds or something, I could have cleared this floor with this team, for example. But yeah, 30 seconds too limiting. The other thing that I want to point out is monster variety was pretty bad on some floors. So if we take a look at floor, or the second part here, this is the one with the melt and the vaporize reactions getting buffed, and freeze. And it was cool at first, right? Because I saw this and I was like, cool, I'm gonna run a vaporize team or whatever. And then you look at the monster list: Hydro immune, Hydro immune, Hydro immune, Hydro resistant at the bottom. And it's like, what the heck? Why did they do this? Why is there so limited variety on this one? And then they buffed a reaction that's not going to do anything for these Hydro mimics. Well, I mean, you can still vaporize on them with a Pyro DPS, but that also means I can't bring like my Elan, I can't bring my Farina. Like, they're not going to do well. They're not going to contribute their damage because there's so many Hydro immune enemies, and it was like weird. That was just a bad choice. I feel like there should be more enemy variety overall, because it felt like you were just fighting the same 2, maybe 3 waves of enemies because you're skipping so many all the time. So it feels like you skip right into the same types of enemies. So more variety would be good. I'm not saying I want bosses in here either. I just need like more different enemy types. Would have been fine. Hopefully that's something they consider in the future. Another comment that I saw was saying that all cooldowns should be reset when you start a new floor, and I 100% agree. It felt really bad, you know, when you're using all your buttons on your team, and then, you know, you beat the enemy, and then you go on to the next one, they spawn, and it's like, hey, wait, Arlecchino's skill's still on cooldown, I can't do anything, I have to wait for the cooldown. Or, you know, Bennett, you know, still doesn't have his burst yet, or and like all these like awkward moments where either cooldown was happening, your energy wasn't filled, so you have to use that little energy boost thing, and it was just weird to not be able to use your skills and kind of waste time doing so. So it felt like you were being punished sometimes for clearing too fast, when you press all your buttons and not everything's on cooldown. So yeah, I would prefer a cooldown just reset every time a new floor starts. We shouldn't be losing time to stuff out of our control. Speaking of the energy burst orb, that being a one-time use, I was actually okay with. I think that there should have been more power-ups for us to choose from, though, because it's either, hey, here's an orb that heals you. Hey, here's an orb that gives you energy or fighting spirit, and that was it. How about, hey, here's an orb that increases your crit rate and crit damage. Hey, here's an orb that increases your attack percentage. So we had more stuff to like juggle with and to like play with, more power-ups to play with, so we could strategically, you know, either maybe there was like a really hard floor that we were all struggling with, and it was like, hey, I'm gonna save up all my orbs for this one chamber because this one sucks. That would be floor 19 for a lot of these, to be honest. Something like that would be cool. And the other thing that I would suggest is same thing with the friend boons. A lot of the times I do events as soon as they're available, so I don't get to take advantage of the friend boons. I got to in the last stage though because Samer did the last one. Thankfully. I thought it was random what the buff was. It seems to be like you get a flat increase. Okay, never mind. But yeah, this one, it's kind of weird. I feel like it should have been a different way of acquiring the friend buffs, because you either have to wait for your friends to clear floor 20, but what if they're struggling to clear floor 20 because they don't have buffs, and they're waiting on you to clear it? Then you have this like awkward, like, hey, I need you to clear it so I can get some buffs. But I feel like they should have a different friend integration. Maybe a co-op would have been cool, and then you don't put rewards behind being single player would be a nice change. You could also make it so that we could borrow a friend's unit, maybe, instead of just having a flat buff. That'd be cool. Like, there's a lot of different ways they could have done this. I'm not a fan of the friend boon only when they beat it kind of thing, because then you're just waiting for your whale friends to beat it. Last but not least, one of my other critiques is this floor checkpoint system that they had, which was cool. I would prefer they let us have more freedom on the floor we pick. I don't know why they have it in like set intervals, but I feel like if you clear a floor within the time limit, I have unlocked the ability to say, hey, I want to start from that floor. So I don't have to like start from 15 every time and then try to bump my way into 17 or 18 and then try to bump my way into 20. I didn't like that. I'd rather prefer, hey, let me just start at 17 or 18 and then I'll just try to bump up to 20, because that was the one thing I was trying to focus on. Like, it sucks, oh, I have to retry again and I have to retry from floor 15. So I would prefer more checkpoints, so I can just focus on the fight that matters. But yeah, those are all of my critiques for the event. I actually had quite a lot. I do plan to actually write these in a feedback survey to Koyaverse, and I hope you guys end up doing the same. Like, hey, if this event was too hard for you, tell them that. It wasn't fun, tell them that. You didn't like the buffs either, tell them that. It wasn't a good idea to make such a Natland focused event. And I would agree with you. But please, again, I can only say this so many times, try not to just straight up insult the devs and use profanity in your feedback survey. They're not going to listen to you. Because I'm sure a lot of people do that in their feedback surveys, and they have to sift through all of that. And like, yeah, they're not going to take you seriously, and then people are going to complain, see, the devs never listen. I don't get it. I write in the feedback survey. Yeah, I wouldn't listen to you guys either if I had to sit through all those feedback surveys. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Uh, I'm just happy to be done with the event. This one was pretty hard. Definitely one of the hardest combat events I can remember. I don't remember if we've had harder before. Honestly, it's just been a long time. But that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video.